Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up this afternoon, U.S. dollar falls in value after U.S. presidential election polls over the weekend shifted towards Kamala Harris. What does this tell us about the forex traders' hope of who wins, and what is the repercussion for the city's performance? Also coming up, Ghanaian business community keenly following the U.S. elections ahead will engage Simon Magye, who is president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. My name is Darrell Kwao. Thanks for joining us. Details coming up. Now, first up, leadership of the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, says it is working to clamp down on foreign nationals producing substandard mattresses for the local market. This follows official complaints from some local mattress manufacturing companies who allude that their businesses are adversely affected by the sale of cheaper mattresses. Chief Executive of the AGI, Sechima Kwabwa, says leadership is intensifying efforts to seize operations of these foreign companies for public safety. Here's more in this report.
Speaking at a regional annual general meeting of the Association of Ghana Industries, Chief Executive Officer Seth Chum Akwabwa observed a growing number of unregistered foreign mattress manufacturing companies in the country. Some local mattress manufacturing companies have been adversely impacted by such operations. Mr. Akwabwa explains the unregistered companies sell substandard mattresses at affordable prices but expose consumers to health risks. Market surveillance by the Ghana Standards Authority unveiled a chunk of the companies operating in various marketing centers of the country.
So it's just a packaging material, but they just cut it like that and then cover it and bring it to the market. Sell it at a very cheap price and therefore are competing all the mattress companies. It's been a big issue, so they brought this to our attention and we quickly informed Ghana Standards Authority about it. And we are working very closely with Ghana Standards Authority to bring the perpetrators to book. So the unsuspecting consumers are buying these mattresses. And in the long run, it's going to have effect on your health. If you're a manufacturer, go through the process of certification and get your product approved by Ghana Standards Authority.
The 25th annual AGM brought together businesses and other stakeholders operating in the Ashanti region, Bono East and Ahafo regions. It sought to deliberate on issues confronting local industries and ways to tackle them for smoother operations. The event also saw the opening of a regional job fair that created avenue for local businesses to display the array of services and products they have to offer.
We decided that for this year's AGM, we will add the job fair. That's why we've asked some of you to exhibit your products, but whilst exhibiting, you also be talking to the young people who come to you seeking for jobs. We urge you to interact with them and give them as much information as you can. It could be advice, it could be protocols, it could be any linkage that you can provide.
Meanwhile, the government, through the Ghana Revenue Authority, has reinstated its previously abolished inbound manufacturing facility on raw materials. Mr. Akwabwa again.
I'm not enjoyable in April this year. But after our negotiations and discussion with them, they realized that no, we needed to support local manufacturers. And therefore, what AGI was saying was right. For that reason, they have agreed that if you enjoy the VAT deferment, you can also enjoy the import manufacturing. That's all. So we are okay, we are enjoying it. In fact, this was just about 2-3 weeks ago that we had the FANA. So the letter came just about 2 weeks ago. So we are communicating to our members that you can actually enjoy both. It was there. It's just in April that they issued a letter that you cannot enjoy both. If you have one, be on one. And then we said, no, you have to be on both. So they've agreed with us because it makes sense to support local manufacturers.
For Joy News, my name is Emmanuel Prince Kweku.
You're watching The Marketplace, heading right into our exchange. Well, we have our eyes keenly on the U.S. elections, not just us, the Ghanaian Business Committee as well, following keenly what is happening in the U.S. as that country decides who becomes their next president. Joining me on Zoom to discuss, Samuel Magye, who is president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us here on The Marketplace. Just for those who do not know what the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana is, maybe you just want to tell us what you do.
Oh, wonderful. And good afternoon to you, Daryl, and to your listeners and viewers. I'm actually the executive secretary and not the president, so there's a whole board headed by a president. So the American Chamber of Commerce is an affiliate of the United States Chamber of Commerce. And for many of you who do not know, the United States Chamber of Commerce is the world's oldest trade association, established in April 1912, with over 3 million members and 123 affiliates around the world. So the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana is one of those affiliates. And it's been in operation since 1989. So this is actually our 35th year of operation in Ghana. And our goal primarily is to promote trade and investments between Ghana and the United States. One, by ensuring that Ghana is considered as a favorable destination for U.S. foreign direct investment. And two, also to ensure that we work on policy to make sure that U.S. investment that comes into our country remain in our country to create the jobs and pay the taxes for economic growth. So that's what we do.
Yeah, and how would you describe the relationship over the years? I mean, the Ghanaian Business Committee doing business with the U.S.?
Oh, it's been excellent. You know, Ghana and U.S. have such a close relationship, and that has moved into business as well. We have so many American companies here. The relationship has been excellent over the years. So I would put it as excellent. It's been a great relationship, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me fix this.
Yeah, and I believe the Ghanaian Business Committee is keenly watching what is happening in the U.S. today. What is the anticipation amongst the business community as we watch the U.S. Head to the polls today and await the outcome?
Well, you know, the U.S. is arguably the oldest democracy, so this is not new. I mean, the anticipation is that the elections will go as planned, people vote, it will be counted, and then results will be declared, and then life will go on. So that's the first anticipation. Two, there's also a greater anticipation that the U.S., regardless of who is elected, will signal a lot more interest in Africa and doing business in Africa, so that the companies will take a cue from that and have a lot more investment towards our way. So that is a much greater one for all of us, and that's what we are all keenly looking up to. We do know that the U.S. is the biggest economy, and you know it's a mover and shaker of world economics. And so whatever we can do from our end to ensure that Africa is on the table when decisions are being made is very critical for our own economic growth and development.
Does it matter who wins the elections?
Well, I mean, there wouldn't be a significant difference. I mean, but it will signal who is more open to working with the continent, and that's what we need to focus on. If you take President Biden, when he came into office, he reinstated the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit. He's had a state visit, by the Kenyan president to the White House. The last one was in 2008. He's been working for AGUA reauthorization next year. Hopefully, we'll have that reauthorized. And then he's passed some significant legislation which will help U.S. businesses doing business on the continent and elsewhere, which is the foreign extortion law, which will literally prosecute foreign officials that demand money from U.S. investors around the world. And it's been quite significant. And let's not also forget his investment in the Lobito corridor. I'm so sorry, this thing is not stable. His investment in the Lobito corridor, about 40 billion, trying to connect Angola to DRC to Zambia, and all those countries within that region. So he's been very forceful about his investment. It won't be different. President Trump, when he was in office, he came up with a BUILD Act, which is better utilization of investment around the continent, which led to the formation of the DFC, the International Development Finance Corporation, with over 16 billion for investment on the continent. He sent many of his cabinet secretaries. Wilbur Ross was here in 2018. The First Lady, Melania Trump, was also in Ghana and some other places. So we really do not expect that much difference. I think what is important is that our diplomats in Washington, D.C., from the African continent, should be prepared to have a clear strategy to engage whoever is elected as U.S. president to put the Africa case for investment on the table.
Yeah, I mean, there's been concern that the East is very keen on courting African business people, and for that matter, the Ghanaian business community. What advice would you give to anyone who comes out as president of the U.S. Concerning their relationship going forward with Africa and Ghana, for that matter?
Well, I think we all know the statistics. I mean, Africa is very important. Very soon, 1 out of every 4 persons on earth will be an African. And so it's important for the U.S. And what we also have is that we have abundance of critical minerals, and America is in pursuit of great technology. So there'll be a lot of engagement. But it all comes down to what we all want. And I think it's important that we all begin to speak to say, look, we've been friends with America, we continue to be friends with America. We want the U.S. government to give a very strong signal that they are open to doing business on the continent, and then their businesses will follow, and we'll have a great engagement. The future of the world is here, and so I believe that no U.S. government will be able to ignore the continent as a whole.
All right. Simon Magye, thank you so much. Executive Secretary, the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. I appreciate your time. I believe we'll speak sometime soon when the results are out. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Daryl.
I hesitated to ask you who you thought was going to win, but I wouldn't put you on the spot, so...
Please don't.
I know.
All right.
I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the day. Well, we're going to still stick with the U.S. elections because, as we've been reporting, the dollar has fallen in value after the U.S. presidential election polls over the weekend shifted towards Kamala Harris. The dollar is down by 0.6% against a trade-weighted basket of currencies. Now, the index fell to its lowest level in 2 weeks. What does this tell us about who Forex traders hope wins, and what is the repercussion for the city's performance? Associate Professor of Finance at the Andrews University in Michigan, William Super, joins us. Good morning where you are. I'm sure you're in town. And Michigan is a swing state, it's a crucial state. Both candidates hoping to win in that state. How do you think it's going to go? I'm putting you on the spot.
Daryl, good morning. So, Colin, you got me from, Michigan State. So, I don't have a vote.
You don't?
But it's just observing and looking at what is happening. So, I noticed that on campus, most of my students voted early. So, we still have our class. It's not a holiday. I have class in the next 2 hours. What my university is, in the U.S. is the #1 diversified university. So meaning we have a lot of international students. This is basically the United Nations. About 50% of our student population are from other parts of the world. So this should give you an idea that we have a lot of immigrants in our midst. However, the discussion as I talk to the Americans, the students, I mean, they are still divided. So we don't know. We are all praying that the right leader will be elected through the process.
Yeah, and we need to. Yeah, go on. You're going to say something?
The right leader should be elected, and that leader should support global trade and also be friendly to, in our perspective, from our university perspective, to international students and also immigrants. So that is how the discussion is going.
Yeah, and as we await the outcome of the polls, we are looking at reporting that the dollar is falling after polls shifted from Trump to Harris. Tell us why that is the case.
I mean, the fundamentals is that elections comes with uncertainty. So your currency will point to that fact. When you are going, a country is getting closer to elections, you see your currency having a lot of volatility because investors are not certain who is going to be the next leader. So this is what is the reason why we are seeing the dollar weakening a little bit against the international currencies. The hope is that when the leader is elected within the next day or two, things will come to normalcy. In finance, this is part of if your financial market is efficient, this is what you see. Any information will trickle down into your price. And currency is one of the price elements, and that is why we are seeing this happening. It's basically not about the move from Trump to Harris, but it's just because there's an election, investors are not set.
Well, I'm going to read a quote. I just want to figure out what you think about it. It says that under the Trump trade, some investors think that the Republicans' policies would push up inflation, forcing the Federal Reserve to raise interest rates. We'll talk about that in a bit. Higher returns on U.S. assets would then make the dollar more attractive. What do you make of that analysis?
I don't know the writer. So already in the U.S., inflation is high and is coming down a little bit. Based on Trump's policy, he's focusing on domestication, focusing more internal. And if they are not going to get prices, goods coming out from other countries like Mexico, which are a little more cheaper, U.S. goods will be a little more expensive. That is the reason why I'm sure the writer is saying this. But let's see how the U.S. economy itself will adjust to if Trump is elected. Maybe knowing that prices are going to go up, we know Trump is talking about tax cuts. When it comes out with tax cuts, the cost of production may come down and this will not happen. So there are a lot of things that may happen if Harris is elected or Trump is elected.
Yeah, so
the market may adjust.
You point out that this weakening we're seeing is as a result of uncertainty. So probably this is just temporary. But in the meantime, how does this impact the city's performance? The city, which is at a very hard place right now.
I mean, when the U.S. dollar is weakening, it's a good sign to the city. We may have to see a little bit appreciation in the city value. But it also depends if the Ghana market is more efficient. Then this will happen. You notice that the British pound and other currencies, the euro has gained a little bit. So the city should also see some form of appreciation. But we know our Ghana market is not all that efficient, so it will take a long time for this to reflect in the market of Ghana. And also, Ghana is also closer to election. We have less than about 30 days or less than that, about 32 days to go. And you also see that the city is going to see some volatility, some weakening in the city because of the uncertainty who is going to be elected, whether Dr. Bawumia or John Mahama or any of the presidential candidates. So it's being coincided at the same time. So I don't expect any drastic change in the performance of the city.
Wow. I was going to say, don't we just wish that this uncertainty continues? At least it gives the city some breathing space, but you say this is not going to last very long. I want to ask you also about the U.S. Fed. It's supposed to make a decision 2 days after the elections on whether or not to keep the policy rate or reduce it for that matter. How do you also think this would go, and what are the repercussions for us?
If you notice, within the last announcement of Fed, the statistics points to employment moving up a little bit, inflation coming down a little bit. These economic indicators will be the main drivers for Fed decision. However, I know that Fed is also going to be mindful of the political leadership. So whatever rate they come out, though whoever becomes the president may not have major impact, but their policy and future policy directions will also have to go into the computation. You know, when you are fixing your Fed rate or monetary policy rate, future expectations is also part of the consideration. So for them weighing into whoever in the next 2 days after the election will go in line with whoever being the president, knowing what they have lined up in their economic policies, what they intend to do. So these are some of the metrics in the computation of determining the Fed rate. Expectations is one of the elements, and this election points to that expectation. So they will include a little bit of the policy directions of these presidential candidates in the computation.
Okay, thank you so much. It's going to be a long day for you as we await the outcome of the U.S. polls, but it's great to see you out in the open, live from Michigan, which is a crucial swing state. Either candidates must win, could be the decider as well for the elections. Thank you so much, Professor Williams-Bepah. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're watching The Marketplace. Now, the newly established onion market at Echuma Techiman has been handed to onion vendors recently evicted from the Kwadaso market in the Ashanti region. According to the Kwadaso Municipal Chief Executive, Richmond Ejenim-Boateng, the action is part of the Assembly's market decongestion and trading conditions improvement efforts. He says the security of traders has been prioritized at the new market.
The onion vendors at Kwadaso were relocated by the Kwadaso Municipal Assembly some months ago. The traders were asked to settle at Echuma Techiman, which caused a series of demonstrations against the Municipal Assembly. The Echuma Techiman market has officially been handed over to the onion sellers. The Kwadaso MC assured them of adequate security.
Maybe market.
I have promised to add more of the market spaces because it's our own market, and if we handle it well, it will help us. The security is better here as compared to their old place because the market is directly opposite the police station. Echuma Techiman Queen Mother Nana Ekwiachwe expressed her gratitude to the MCE and the Assembly for a move to boost trading in the area.
Send the with the marketing, Jane marketing, with the about Matechima, Amayen. Say Juma and put you at my fedi here and put you, say, Yebenya a Juma, Amayam, Yemranti, and Yamaba, aye. MC Ashi and Munyam, where dear boss, within the boss, so Amen, ne, someone who had the fair fedi, of course, will say, watch Matechima, ah.
We are grateful to the authorities for this place. It would help boost economic activities and create jobs here.
I feel not to matter, then Chamoso Boko at my memory. A Juma, by into some market, you know. Your friend Nana a quiatre on your market.
Joseph Obin's report for Joy News.
All right, we've got to end the show a bit earlier because there's a birthday party happening in the control room. It's Patrick Gomez's birthday. That's the director of the show. So we're going to celebrate. More news on our website, myshowonline.com/business. Energy sector not advancing enough ASAP. Also, CD records year-to-date loss of nearly 29%, $1 going for 17 cedis, 10 pesos. myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Daryl Kwa. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time tomorrow.